Hey, what's up, everybody? So it's been a while since I have been on, but I'm back in the studio. I've been doing some work on a couple projects, and during Black Friday, Martelli had a pretty awesome sale, and then the following Tuesday, if you were there in person, they had an even bigger discount for the people that could physically walk into the store. So I got a couple things during the sale. I've been playing with them, and let's go over and compare, because since I've been quilting, I've been using Fiskars products, and I kind of stuck with them because they're cheap and they're easy to come by, right? But now I've got some Martelli stuff, and the cost, yeah, there's no way around it. They cost a little more, but are they worth it? That's what we're going to talk about, okay? So let me switch you guys so we can look face down, and we'll start talking about what the difference is. And I've been using them for a couple days now, and we'll see why I'm pretty sold. We'll see why instead of just hurrying up and buying another Fiskars product, maybe why I will go ahead and wait to get that little bit of extra and get me a Martelli's whatever I'm looking for. So let me get you switched around. Okay. So I'm going to pick you up so you can see higher. And then you don't want to see the slate. Okay, so here we got my notes, first of all. Let's pull this out. Okay. So what you can see now is we have the standard Fiskars mat is right here. 6x20, or excuse me, the 24x36 standard Fiskars mat. Okay? So I've been using this for a while, pretty much since I've started quilting. And does it work? Well, yeah, it works. It works for what you want it to work for, okay? But the issue I've had is if you leave these just a little bit in the sun, as you can see, my studio is, I got a window here for the lighting, and because there's horses across the street, I enjoy looking at them and so on. So if you leave your Fiskars mat in the sun, guarantee you it is going to warp. I've had to replace a couple now. Also, they're really bendy. So holding them, they're bendy. Okay? Now, it's because of how thin they are. This is pretty standard across the board between Fiskars and Ulfa and some of the other standard mats. Okay? Now, the very first thing I noticed with this Martelli mat, put this out of the way, is for one, how bright and contrast it is. I love it. I can see, and plus with me being a dude, I really like the blue and yellow. It's kind of masculine for me without being super masculine. Now, the other side to that would be this purple and green. Okay? Very nice as well. It's like a purple, and this would be, to me, I'm reading this as like a lime green color. So, whichever side you like, they're both pretty contrasty, so the markings are easy to read. But there we go. We're going to keep it on this side. It's kind of bright, kind of happy. And, well, you know, kind of more dudeish. Okay. Now, to touch on this. This booger is heavy. Okay? It's heavy. It's heavy duty. I honestly thought that I was shipped 2 mats. I started trying to kind of pick and see, like, did they accidentally send me 2 in this package? Because that's the difference. So, you got this. If I pick it up by one hand, it's flexing like a spaghetti noodle. Okay? If you pick this up, and I got one arm under it, it bows, but barely. Okay? Now, the other big difference that makes this mat, the Martelli mat, nice compared to the Fiskars mat, is remember how I said leaving it in the sun will warp your Fiskars mat? Well, as long as you put a piece of fabric down. Okay, so let's say I got a piece of fabric and that's wrinkled, alright? So, I put a piece of fabric down, I can put another piece of fabric down on my mat and iron on my mat. You can actually iron on your cutting mat. Now, with that being said, you can't just leave your iron down and walk away, and you can't, you got to use your common sense, okay? So, you can still iron on this though, but you need to have a piece of fabric covering the actual mat itself. So, you could put a towel down and then put whatever you're ironing down, pull it away, boom, now you're back to cutting mat. So, that would save on a pressing mat if you don't want to go that route. Okay, now, moving on. I'm trying not to sound like a car salesman, but man, after playing with this stuff, I'm like totally sold on it. I really am. And like I've said before, I'm not going to recommend anything that I really don't actually recommend, okay? Because I don't want you guys wasting your money. I don't want to waste my money. So that's why I kind of do some of these little product reviews. Because why not save you guys the time from doing what I've done and buying a bunch of crap from, you know, between here and there. Okay, so now, let's move on to the cutters real quick. So, the biggest thing you'll notice, this is the Fiskars 60 millimeter. Okay, this is what they call their ergonomic. So you squeeze it, makes the blade come out, push the trigger down. Now the blade's out permanently, so you're not having to squeeze. Now, not to say that this is junk, okay? This was decent. This was usable, okay? But I'm a guy, so I like this 60 because it's bigger. I can get a grip. This is how that is meant to be used, okay? Now, just doing this, I can feel all this is tight. And this isn't something I thought of before. Okay, because if you don't know, you don't know, right? Ignorance is bliss. Okay, so you've got this held like this. Okay, and I'm cutting just like this. Okay, just like everyone would, right? Now, I can feel all in right here is tight because I'm holding it the way this is meant to be held. Same thing with this little one. You know, this fits in my hand a little bit, maybe dainty, I would say. A little bit easier to hold, kind of more delicate, and you can kind of be a little more easy with it. Okay, let's make sure that's closed. So, I can feel the difference in that because I'm holding it now and I'm holding it out and everything is flexed. You don't think about that just cutting a couple pieces of stuff, okay? You don't really think about it. after a while, your hand starts to get sore, and you're like, gosh, why is my hand getting sore? Well, now let's talk about the Martelli one, okay? Now, I'm going to come down and bring you guys down a little bit, because this is kind of what blew me away. Okay. So, like I said, without being too much of a car salesman, but the one thing, okay, so with me being my type of brain, I'm very much of a tinkering. I like to know how things work. I like to know the mechanics of things, right? The mechanics of this is really simple. Okay, you got a pizza cutter and you got you've got a razor blade. Okay, very simple. Everything is plastic on this. Plastic as can be. The only thing metal on this is the screw in this blade. Okay, so like I said before, we're holding it out right. Now all this here is stiff because I'm flexing to hold it. And, let me lock that so I don't cut myself. When you're pushing down, you're putting a lot of pressure, at least for me, how I'm holding it, right here. Because I sit down when I'm cutting, okay? Now, this little guy is the 45 millimeter, what they call their ergo cutter. Okay, this here is the 60. Okay? Now, this is made for right-handed. They also have left-handed. So you will be facing that way. This cutting head obviously will be rotated the right way. Okay, so they've got the red for the right. The blue ones are left. Now, when you grab this thing, instinctively you're going to grab it like a bicycle handle. Just like this. Okay, it fits good. Just like this. Now, with me being a guy, my hands maybe are a little bigger than some of you women, okay? This fits good, okay? I can almost reach all the way around it. Alright, now when you hold this, you instinctively put your finger like this and like this. Okay? That is super, super comfortable. That's how you hold this, okay? Now, what makes this also nice is, see that little black strip right here? Okay, to get the blade to come out, you simply put it down, and as you push forward, did you hear that click? Boom. That exposes the blade. Now my blade's exposed. Now to shut it, I simply take this finger, and boom, close blade again. So open it, close it. Easy to use. This feels really good. Now, with me having a little bit bigger hands, you know, see right here? I've got a nice little fat pad there. Okay, so the 60 in my hand feels really good. Okay, now, it fits. This is even contoured. This is the right size. It tapers down, you know, because your fingers go longer, shorter, shorter. So they've even tapered the grip. Okay. So, after hearing Gene talk about Martelli for a while, okay. So, after hearing Gene talk about Martelli for a while, I finally listened to a podcast on the Just Wanna Quilt podcast, and they interviewed David Martelli. Okay. These people, the Martellis, are not quilters. They kind of fell into this by accident because the dad is an inventor. Okay, he started out by inventing a way to sharpen rotary blades. And then they just kind of went in one thing to another. So there's stuff like this. Okay, the dad looked at how people hold these and listened at the different trade shows. You know, people coming up and saying, gosh, this cutter is okay, it cuts, but after a while, boy, my wrist really hurts. or I've got arthritis, and that really makes these hard to use. So they came up with, instead of pushing down and holding like this and pushing away, to hold it like this, just like a handlebar, like you would be riding a bike. That's perfect. Your shoulders and stuff are naturally like that. So you hold it like this. I'll turn this way so you can see it. So when you hold it, I mean, it's intuitive. This works. This works really well. I'm super sold on this. Okay. Now, I've talked to you about the cutters and why I like them. They're very comfortable. Okay, and this is all one solid piece. All this, the handle, everything is one solid piece. Now, see these inside guts here? All that? If that wears out, they sell replacement parts. It's like $6 or something for a little kit to replace all that. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. I can't count how many blades I have replaced on these two cutters right here from Fiskars. Okay? These things go dull, and I baby these. I don't cut anything but fabric. Okay? These things go dull. Now, why does that happen? So, when you're holding like this, you're not up and down, because your arm wants to naturally kind of rest this way. And then for the sake of it, we'll get a ruler over here. Well, let's do a smaller one. Okay, so when you're cutting, your wrist naturally kind of wants to fall, because that's how your body works. So now your blade is actually up against the edge of your ruler, and it's grinding the side of your ruler. Then as you're pushing, you're actually flexing that blade, and that dulls them over time. Now, I've only had this for like a week. This thing's sharp as, man, it is sharp as all get out. Gene said he's had his for over like a year and a half now, and he's still got the original blade, and that's because the way you hold it, you naturally hold it upright more, and so you're actually cutting on the point of that blade, not one way or the other. Okay, and yes, they make left-handed ones, so looking at a left-handed one, instead of it being curved like this, they'll be curved like this. That, instead of being red, will be blue. Okay? So yes, right-handed or left-handed, they make them both. I'm a righty, so that's why I got my righties. Okay, but yeah, you left-handed folks, you are not left out. They make them specifically for you guys as well. Okay, so now, looking at the price comparison, one of the biggest differences I found was in the roller. A 6x24, according to their website that I just looked up, this ruler that I have from Martelli is $60. Okay? Pick your jaws up off the floor. I know that's a big number for a ruler. Now, this roller that you can get from Fiskars is $18. But let's take a look at what makes what. Okay. So, one finger. Okay? I'm putting one finger on this. Slippy, slippy, slippy. Okay? You see that? One finger. You really have to push. And even pushing as hard as I can, still moves. Now, the Martelli roller, one finger. That ain't moving. That's moving my mat. Okay? That's one big difference. So we'll look at them sideways. Okay. This is just the regular acrylic. This is like an acrylic. There we go. This is like an acrylic, and then their non-stick stuff that is on their products. This is kind of like a corky, felty, something. I don't know. It's something they spent 3 years coming up with. And I can tell you, by God, when they say it's no slip, it is not. It's not gonna slip. Okay? Not gonna slip. Now, $60, $20. Okay? Big price difference, right? Now, perfect example. Let's see if we can see the issue with this $20 ruler. Oh, my markings are coming off. And I have not had this very long. Maybe 8 months now. Okay? All this stuff's coming off. What good is this ruler if all your markings are coming off, right? This is meant to be seen through, and you're meant to use the markings on the ruler, but they're coming off. All of them. All my rulers have come off. Now, Martelli does it differently. Okay? So, they've got some markings on this ruler, and this is one of their strip rulers too. Okay? So, see these slots? So you stick your blade in those, and that gives you from here to here. If you put your line in there and you measure from here, you're going to get 3-inch strips. Or you can get 2-inch strips, or you can get a 1 5/8. Whatever the markings are. You'll see what I mean. Okay? This is great. Really well made. There's nothing that's going to come off because that's engraved. Okay? That is down in there. Now, the difference is, like I said before, Fiskars is meant to use the markings on your ruler and see through. But you see the downfall with that plan? They're meant to use the markings. The markings are rubbing off. Time to replace a ruler, right? Now, with Martelli, their markings on their mat is super accurate. So, instead of looking through, you line up at the top and at the bottom down here, and you use this and you cut next to this. Now, here's the other thing that makes it different. Let me try to show you, because this is kind of for like the people that maybe have arthritis or have issues being sore or whatever. So we'll the Fiskars, you cut in the middle of your body, okay? That's just how that's meant to be. You're cutting in the middle, like above your belly button, and you cut. Maybe not that extreme. Maybe you're over here a little bit. When you hold this you hold this Martelli one though, you hold it away from you, and it's out here, next to your hip, okay? And you cut like that. So, you line it up, and this isn't going anywhere, which makes it nice. Here, let's turn you guys back around. Don't mind the door. Okay. Now, mind you, I'm just showing you guys this stuff. This is what I found, okay? I don't like to stand up and move around when I'm working a lot because I've got arthritis in my knees, so I tend to sit down, and I want to be able to cut, I want to be able to press, and I want to be able to sew relatively close in my workstation. Okay, so with Fiskars, I'm in the middle of myself. With the Martelli, I'm over here, more out this way, and it's more comfortable. Now, the reason why you had to be in the middle with the Fiskars is because you had to push down. If you push out this way, it's going to slide. So you always had to beat down, you had to scrunch your shoulders in, you had to push down and do it like that. The Martelli, this bad boy, you can hold it with one finger and it is not slipping. So now you can be over here out of the way, And you can cut on this side, and it's way comfortable. I didn't understand a lot of this. Let's see. Okay. So, I didn't understand a lot of this originally. And I'm sure I was like the rest of you guys. When I seen these prices, I'm like, holy crap. There's no way. I'll just keep buying this cheap-ass Fiskars stuff because it's cheap, right? No big deal. Like I said, we'll do the price comparison because I went to both of their sites and wrote down the prices. So, $18 for this one right here, okay? 18 bucks. I can't count how many times I've replaced this blade. Alright? That adds up. And I'm talking about in a year. Alright? These things wear out quick. This was $24.99. Okay? Gene has one. He quilts. That's all he does. He quilts a lot. He's got arthritis in his hands. He uses this. And he's still on the original blade. There's savings. That extra, what are we at? $8 for that? $6 difference? Okay, as soon as I buy one blade for this, I'm over the difference. Okay. 60 millimeters was $29.99. From Fiskars, $25.99. $4 difference. You can have a solid cutter. This is solid. That's plastic. And a couple more drops and this thing's going to be separated already like my other one did. If this thing drops, I'm not saying it's indestructible, but this is all one piece of acrylic. It feels really sturdy. Okay, so now the mat, $77.99 versus $49.99. So $30 difference, okay? That's a big jump. But what makes that worth it to me is the fact that you can iron on their mat. Their mat's not going to warp when it's in a little bit of heat. Their mat, it's kind of hard to show you, but their mat is like 3 times as thick as this one. Okay? Like I said, when I first picked it up, I thought there must have been more than one in the package. Very sturdy. Very, very self-healing. I mean, this is one of those things where initially, yes. Oh, crap, that one's more. Okay, but over time, right? Nobody's going to be a quilter for a week and get out of it. We're going to buy our tools and we're going to keep them for a while. So that's where initially they may be more, but these Martelli isn't like, it's not like they're, to me, they're not Quilting Notions. They're answers. Answers to problems, okay? I need a mat that I can cut on, that's going to last, and that maybe, if you can figure it out, I can also iron on it. Martelli came up with that. Hey, you can iron on our mat. I need a rotary cutter that I can use and cut a ton, and it doesn't make my wrist hurt, and it's comfortable. Okay, well, we've come up with that. And by the way, because of how you use ours, now you're saving on rotary blades because you're cutting properly, and now your shoulder doesn't hurt. So they've come up with that. The ruler. This is a strip ruler and a regular ruler. And it's non-slip. And you don't have to worry about the markings rubbing off because the markings are on your mat, not on your ruler that is going to rub off. So, now, for the 45, the 60, a mat, and a 6x24 ruler, Martelli is $192. Okay? That's a big pill to swallow. Now, the Fiskars doing the 45, the 60, the mat, and the 6x24. That's $112. Okay, so we're looking at $80 difference. However, I can tell you right now, at about $15 a pack for blades, I know I've spent an additional $60. That's 4 different packs of blades on just using these rotary cutters. So, what's really cheaper? You're going to buy a cheaper rotary cutter and you're going to pump the money out for cutting blades. And, I mean, there's your difference right there. You're eating up your difference in rotary blades. So, my opinion, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm not getting kickbacks or nothing. Gene happened to be in Pensacola when they had their sale. So, he was awesome. He sent me some stuff because I'd been talking about, after hearing David talk about how when they make their notions, they're making answers to problems, is how they look at it. They're not quilters, okay? None of them in their quilt. That's what's really interesting. They're looking at it from a different perspective. So they're seeing problems, they come up with solutions. That's what initially interested in me. And then I started checking them out, and I'm like, you know what? Everything seems like it's built, very purposefully built. So let's give them a shot. And so far, I'm sold. I will wait and spend a little bit extra to make sure that I get a Martelli product that may be a little more upfront, but in the long run, it's going to be cheaper. You know, that old adage, you get what you pay for. Well, the difference between this and this speaks for itself. So, their cutters are really popular. I think their rulers are starting to catch on. It's a different way of cutting that people got to get used to. But, like I said here, and you know what? I wish I had... Oh, this isn't this. Okay, I misspoke. This is not their 6x24 ruler that I have. This is their strip ruler. So it's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 1/4 wide. But one last thing, and then I'm gonna be done. So their rulers all come with this non-slip. Okay. One last time. Here's the difference. 1 finger on each. This, I'm pushing down and it's moving my mat. This, it's going to slide. This, it does not slide. Okay? That goes back to getting what you pay for. Make the little bit of investment and it's totally worth it. Okay, so I guess I'm done being a Martelli fanboy. I'm kind of sold. Don't get me wrong. Does that mean I'm going to pitch out all my Fiskars, everything? Absolutely not. But does that mean that when I need another cutter, or that I need another mat, or that I need another ruler, am I going to buy another Fiskars? No. I am going to get another Martelli. Totally worth it. My opinion. Gene turned me on to this stuff. He's been talking about it. And I've been just like you guys. Oh, God, that number, man, that price. Woo. I'm sold now. Okay? Spend a little bit of extra. Because you're going to have the stuff anyway. It's going to stay with you. If you keep care of your quilting supplies, they're going to hang around. Might as well make the investment. Okay? Gene and I always talk. We kind of put things in terms of cars. I feel like I've gone from like a Chevy Cavalier to now I've got a Cadillac. Now, let's see. You can't really... trying to show you the difference here. And I guess you can't really see it. But... The difference in these mats, man, is noticeable. Oh, and the other thing to touch on, this Martelli mat is slightly bigger. It's about 1 inch bigger all the way around. So you have more of a leeway. I just cut myself. So you have more of a leeway when you're cutting. Okay, you can see the difference now a little bit, maybe. This Martelli mat is literally like 3 times as thick as my Fiskars mat. Okay, so that's all. Sorry, I didn't want to sound like it's an infomercial, but I wanted to give you guys my honest opinion. I like doing these product reviews because as quilters, we all know there's a ton of crap out there. Everybody says you need it. Everybody says their crap's going to make it easier to do, easier, faster, better. And about 90% of that is junk, and it doesn't do what they say. Martelli is just now kind of pushing their name out, trying to get more on social media and so on. Excuse me. But I'm sold on their stuff, man. So I'm going to be a Martelli user. And I've actually got a project coming up. I made this top. Totally don't like it. But we're going to bring some new life into this thing. And we are going to do it with some new Martelli cutters. And, yeah. I've got a template. And we're going to use that quilt and make something out of it. So, that's it. I will put a link in this description because David Martelli has a really good video and explains in depth all the technical stuff. I just explained it as a dude that just got some new product and why I like using it as a user. You can watch his and they go in and they explain why they made it the way they did and really how to use their product because it's meant to be used a certain way in order to fix the problems that we have with our standard normal stuff. So they've answered the problems, but you got to use it the way that it was designed to be used. And then once you get used to using it that way, it's like, holy cow, why did I wait so long to start doing this? So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for hanging around. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Go check them out. MartelliNotions.com. MartelliNotions. Notions.com. All one word. If you are down in Pensacola, Florida, stop in and see them. They're actually getting a new showroom and a big education center. They're starting to get in a bunch of fabric and everything. So they're going to have a full-fledged place. Right now they're mainly a Notions manufacturing and so on facility, but they are about to do it big. That's going to be opening soon. You can follow them on Facebook. Just look them up, Martelli Notions. And that's about it. Also, they have their own Facebook group, Martelli Notions Facebook group. David Martelli is super active on there. And check out some of their other products, man. I'm telling you, the prices at first are going to make you're going to take a pause. But start doing some research. Yes, they're cutting tables. That's my next thing. Okay, real quick before we go. This is what I'm working with now. I've got a big piece of, I forgot what that's called, but it's like plywood that's got laminate on it, okay? That's what I'm using now. This works okay, but their cutting table, he doesn't even call it a table, he calls it their cutting system, is freaking amazing. Get on YouTube. Look up a video of it. It's amazing. The table, you can tilt it. Each leg raises and lowers independently. It's crazy. It's awesome design. We're going to have to save up and get one of them. So, Anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging around. I will be doing another live sometime because I'm going to start that other project. Anyway, thank you all. Check them out. This is Seth again, Quilting on a Budget. And we've been checking out some stuff from Martelli Notions. Check them out. Give them a shout out. All right, bye.